we're going to get started with a very simple Arkanoid game, which will pretty much be from Noob Tuts, which is a very good website. You can see a lot of very basic games and everything. Yep, you want 2D. So you go 2D mode. Go from there. I am looking at the Discord, so it is probably best to use YouTube if you want the questions to pop up. Otherwise, I have to go backwards and forwards. But yeah, other than that, just got notifications there. So what we're going to do is boot up Unity. I'm going to do this locally and everything as you can go. So this is for Unity version 5.0, so it'll change in the new versions. You'll just have to pretty much, okay, that's good. Use the YouTube chat. Yep. Okay, so let me just double check something, real quick to make sure, fucking bugger. Where's OBS? Turn that off. There we go, stream options, and we want to go ultra low latency. Near real time interaction, okay, whatever. It'll have to do. So, alrighty, so we have to do new project as in like that, but we'll go here. I'm using Unity 2018.3, 6 personal. So if you haven't done it already, we go File, New Project, and let it load up Unity Hub. If you have just the Unity window, you will just pretty much have another window pop up, but it's similar to the thing. So we're just going to paste it here, and we're just going to call it, make sure we select the 2018.3.6, and we're just going to call it Brick Breaker. Now, with the template, you want to do 2D. You don't want to worry about the other ones here because most of the time they are just preview ones, and they will be included in 2019.1 and .2. I should really have. Hi there, Spencer 7x7. Good to see you around, man. And pretty much with that, you want to make sure that 2D is pretty much set because it's not really necessary to put 3D in a 2D game unless you want to do the 2.5D thing, but that's besides the point. So we'll go ahead and create a project. This will open up another Unity because Unity Hub allows me to have multiple Unities open. But since I am working on my own game project, I'm going to close it as soon as the other one opens because I don't want the two fighting each other. This takes a little bit of time because it has to install a bunch of shit. But we'll get to that in a moment because it wants to install some, dependencies and stuff like that. So we'll just give this a few moments. Yeah, when it decides to work. Still importing scripts. I do apologise for the stuff in the background. I do apologise for the stuff in the background. Dad is busy playing with some toys of his, and he's doing some reworking on a horn, so it's making noises and everything. So that. Other than that, okay, so we have the asset store. We're not going to go shopping, but we've got this. We've got this in a 2D mode, so we are going to tell that one to bugger off. When it shuts down, yep, okay, so the project I had open has closed, so this one, we're working on this one. Now, I've cheated a little bit and went ahead and downloaded the assets on the page, so we're just going to make a few folders that I recommend doing first, mainly because this allows you to dump your stuff in there rather than having them all over the place. So, we pretty much have that and sound and a few other ones. Well, we've already got audio scripts. There we go. So we've got 5 folders here. The scenes folder here is just got a sample scene. We can tell it to go to bugger off. What we want to do now that we deleted that sample scene, we want to go File, Save As. And we want to save it in the scenes, and we call this Game. You don't have to do it. You can continue using the thing as normal. But yeah. And by all means, if at any time you're not sure, just say, hey, hold on, and I'll backtrack to where you're stuck. So yeah, feel free to interrupt me at any time. I'm not going to don't feel bad. I can go from there. So yeah. Okay, so we've got that. Now we have to actually import the assets. Now we'll go back to Internet Explorer. Well, my other browser's got shit in there that I've got work-related stuff that I really shouldn't put on stream. So we'll skip ahead with all this. Don't worry about that. First of all, we need to do the camera. So we want to set the size of the main camera to the projection to off done for graphics. So it doesn't give you a perspective. It just gives you a flat 2D thing, like you're looking at a camera. You're looking at a photo. It's not 3D because it doesn't have any depth unless you're using one of those weird ass 3D cameras. So we'll just keep that in mind. Orthographic and 125 size. So what we'll do is grab the main camera. We'll go up here. Make sure it's set to that's 2D mode. 125. Like that. So we will leave this as is. It's okay as normal. We'll go back, flip back to that, and basically we want to leave everything as it. So we have this hexagon background pattern as normal. So we've already imported that. We'll just go into textures, right click on here. On Internet Explorer or any other browser, you would actually go File, Save Picture As, and save it to your project folder. So I've already went ahead and done this. So I'm going to just import all these. You can just click on one and then hold down Shift and click all of them. And you basically import all of them like so. Now, there was something that they did say. It's like the pixels per unit 1. Okay. So we want to make sure that we set this all to 1. So we have a nice, big, sexy graphic, basically. Let's have a look and just double check things. So, alright, so it's a sprite, which means it's a 2D or UI sprite. It doesn't use 3D, saves no polygons are loaded. Sprite mode is single, packing tag is empty, pixels per unit is 1. That is what we did. So that's all good. We don't need to worry about any other settings because these are newer than the tutorial, so we'll just leave it as is. You don't need to worry about anything else there, so just leave it as is. Now, with that in mind, let's go on and actually do the go there, sorting layer. Okay, so he's saying that we want to drag this into the scene, so it comes up like this. Use the scroll wheel to zoom out. It's pretty handy. It should come up as a sprite renderer, which it does. So we'll go sorting layer, default add sorting layer. We call this. This will bring up the tags and layers. Add the new one, and let's call this background, like so. We drag it up like that, as he suggests, I believe. Yes. Okay. So click out of that, it'll disappear over here. Save, Control S, and we can go from there. Where is sorting layer? It is basically in the hexagon pattern, and you're under where the sprite renderer is. Where I've got it on the screen right now. It's currently highlighted on. Hey Jesco, good to see you, man. Gate crash in the stream. Scream. What the fuck? So yeah, the sprite renderer here is basically set to default at the moment, but I don't think that is the correct. It should be background. So we will click on here to bring it down to this little drop down. Then we go background. So now this is basically saying, alright, now we're going to render all this shit on top of the background layer. That's good. I'm going to just go back to the 16-bit era. When in the old game consoles used to do the same background, they had a background layer, a foreground layer, and they had an effects layer. Like the Super Nintendo and Super Mario World had 3 layers normally. You'd have the you have the foreground layer on layer 1, layer 2 would be a background, and layer 3 would be the HUD and overlays like that. Now that you could do, because the SNES had, magic and all that in there, it could do a lot of varieties. Like you could put, layers backwards and forwards, and depending on the game, you could interact between layer 1 and 2. This sorting layer basically says, okay, you can basically stack things on top of each other in a 2D sense, something. Now Z sorting and all that is a complete, sorting layers are completely out of my league. So we won't go diving down that rabbit hole this time, but yeah. So that probably is a good video for Game Dev Made Easy. You should go make a video on sorting layer, my friend. Another reason why you should check out his content. Don't delay, check him out today. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you're right. It was 4 layers. Sprite layer 0, and then background layer. Foreground layer was 0. Background layer 1 or 2, and then something like that. I don't remember. I know Lunia Magic for Super Mario World has all the things, and you can fancy shit. Anyway, getting back to the topic at hand, we've got it set to the background. We're just going to make sure we've got the borders. We've already imported them. If you've done the trick with all these, we've already got them. So it's a piece of cake. Now I'm going to alt tab backwards and forwards. So just bear with me. We're going to make sure that's all good. Now drag them from the project area to the hierarchy and position them so they are outside the hexagon image. Okay. So we're going to first go from the top. So we'll drag the top, and we will basically make sure we have the rect tool, which is our friend, and we're just going to click, and if I can get a cursor. You may have to hit and miss because this rect tool doesn't like it. There we go. So we want to position it, and you may have to scroll in and out for this. Does the tutorial say that position them in the scene so that they are outside the hexagon image? Okay, so he wants to yep, there we go. We have to manually just use the pivot tool, I think, or we could just cheat and put 118. So if you've done this right, the first one should be 118 on the y-axis at 0. So that's so a quick primer on positions is every object in drag the border is minuscule in size. Did you go import these options like the one as shown and set the pixels per unit to 1? Because if they're minuscule, well, yeah, you may have to scroll in if you've already followed it as demonstrated. You will probably find that you have to scroll right in. Nothing like a good cup of tea. Good shit. Don't mind myself a black tea with milk. Oh, whoops! I just called the tea racist. Oops. Participants. Hide chat. Oops. Yeah. So I would just wait for your reply. Okay, beautiful. So it looks like what you see on the screen. Okay, beautiful. We're on the right track. Um, so we'll have to rinse and repeat with the border left and right ones as well. So I just click and drag it. I don't bother about dragging it into the scene view because it puts it all weird locations. So I just drag it there into here. And what we'll do with this one is we'll just position it over to like 118, I believe. No, 108. No, that's 100 minus 107. Yeah, okay, a minus 107 for the left-hand side of the border. Like that. So that'll be your top and the left-hand side. And then what we'll do with the right is we'll drag that one too, put it in there, and we'll set this to 117, 107 on the positive. So basically what we've done is set up the borders as expected, but as we'll get to that, if we were to put all our stuff in normally, there would be a problem. The ball wouldn't be able to bounce off it. So how do we solve that, do you ask? Well, that's pretty easy. You just have to add a box collider, and I didn't even need to look at the tutorial for that. So once you've done that, I'll wait a little bit so you can catch up. And yeah, basically from there we'll add some box colliders. Just shoot me a message as soon as you've done that, and I will continue. Okay, that worked. Okay, beautiful. You've got all borders in? That's excellent. Okay, good. Okay, let's go. How do you add a box collider? Fairly easy. What we'll do is, now I like to do it all in one fell swoop, but this is a bit of an error-prone way, so I'm going to go both ways with this and actually do it where I select the first one, which is the top one, or the left one, whatever you import first. And then you basically click on the top and then hold down shift and click on the bottom. This mass selects them. Then you'll basically see the thing where you have lines in the editor. Don't freak out. The lines mean that there's values that are mixed and therefore Unity can't display them all. In a perfect world, you'd have different inspectors for every item, but that would be pretty counterproductive and all that shit. So what we'll do now is we'll go add component, we'll type in box, and we want the box collider 2D. So we want to click that, and as we can see, we have green boxes around our borders. And the best of all, we didn't even have to do anything because Unity automatically applies some settings. But before we do that, we have to double check to make sure the tutorial knows what we we're not deviating the words. We're not going too far away from the beaten track. So that's fine. It looks like they don't tick everything, and yeah, pretty much. There you go. So we have who keeps pinging me? Oh bloody hell! It's something in the network developers channel. Just, you know what? Fuck it. Mute. There we go. I'll fix that up later. Okay, returning on to the thing. Okay. For fuck's sake. God damn it. Okay. So yeah, okay. Returning back to the thing. So we won't have to worry about anything like that. Yeah, I could do that, but it turned itself off for some reason. I don't know. So I just said fuck it. Story of my life. Um, yeah. Okay. So, alright, so now the borders are part of they will exact the thing, but now they're physical walls. Think of it like the walls of your room. You can't pass through them. So let's create a racket, as being a ball thing, a bat. So we already downloaded it. I've already imported it, so it's all good. What we'll do is make sure this is set to 1 as normal. So we just click on here, make racket and everything like that. That's all good. We'll drag it in, and ta-da, we have a nice big sexy racket. We'll put it at like negative 100 maybe. Yeah, negative 100 minus 100 would work. And yeah, we'll just leave it as is. So we'll do the same thing as normal. We will just add a box collider. And as you can see, the little box collider, this time it actually comes up as blue. But maybe it's just, it looks like blue on my end, but maybe it's just green on top of the actual hexagon. But that's okay. So if we go into if we now save, Control S again, make sure you always save after you do a lot of work, because Unity can and will crash without you saving your data. Yeah, that's the green doesn't stand out over the blue. That's exactly what I thought. Yeah. It actually looks like a teal, whatever. Not teal. It looks there's a word for that. It looks like light blue. There's a specific term for that. Aqua blue. That's what I'm looking for. So okay, let's see what it looks like when we click play. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Cancol. Dismiss. Alright, so that's pretty much what it looks like at the moment. It looks pretty boring, but I mean, hey, at least it's running. It runs at 88 frames a second, which is really good. Yes, your racket is under the. Actually, wait. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay, I've missed a step. Whoopsie. So now we need a rigid body. We need a rigid body. So what we'll do, yeah. Actually, hang on. Now I'm questioning questioning this. This is just. Now we can select the hexagon and assign our. Draws the last from top to bottom. Okay, alright. The racket should be... Yeah, okay. The racket should be on default. I should show you that you can actually relocate these here. So you can actually click and drag these. Yes, that is what got me. That's what I didn't understand. It's it goes from top to bottom. So actually it's reversed, because from top to bottom, you'd think if it was okay, in my head, this is what's going through my head at the moment. If it was top to bottom, it goes 1, 2, 3. But in this case, it's 3, 2, 1, 0. Does that make sense? Yeah. It goes top to bottom. God damn, Unity is weird. Or maybe I'm overthinking it, I don't know. One of the two. Anyway. so going back to it, you can click and drag these around and everything, but we're all good. So what we'll do is we have to add a rigid body. So let's add a rigid body, and we want to make sure the set. We want to make, when you add a rigid body here, we want to go collision detection and select this to continuous. Now you may be wondering why I always use continuous, and if you're using a 3D racket, you use continuous dynamic or continuous speculative if it's a kinetic. The reason why I recommend using continuous is because every tick, the physics engine is going to be checking for collisions, which means that it'll be likely to pick up all collision events. If you have it on discrete, there is a chance that you can, if it's going fast enough, it can actually clip through. Okay, let's say you have a bullet, right? It's a projectile that's using a rigid body. If it's set to discrete and it's going fast enough, and the other it's going fast enough and it's set to discrete, it's going that fast enough that the physics tick hasn't triggered anything that has gone off. You will find the actual bullet will go through a wall because it hasn't detected that collision. Now, if you put it on continuous, it's constantly checking. So as soon as that bullet hits the wall, it'll go bang. Because, I mean, of course, if you have it set up to go bang, it'll actually register a collision event. So it's basically how fast your object's going to go. And I always set it to continuous because CPU cycles are cheap. And the physics engine runs at 50 frames a second, usually every tick. I mean, every update cycle. It runs 50 times a second. You can overclock the physics engine to, say, 60 frames a second. Yes, exactly that. Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much what happens, is it just goes too fast. Alright, so that we'll leave everything as is. So, yeah. So we'll leave that as is. We'll go from there. And there is a gotcha, and I know there's a gotcha. So there's nothing to worry about. Oh no, the racket fell off. What happened there? Well, it turns out that we need to turn off gravity because where's gravity? Hang on, let me double check something on the tutorial. Coburn has stopped working. Constraints? No? Info? Okay, there is a gotcha in 2018.3. So I was trying to find the one here that is no, it's up the top here. See, this is 5.0 and also 5 series. It actually doesn't have any drop down menu there. Now I pretty much had a look here and actually saw it's not dynamic. We have to make it kinematic. Now the option for that is missing because usually it's a checkbox. So that's pretty much what happened, is they've moved this from dynamic, which gives us all these settings, to kinematic. Now I'm not too sure what version you are using. I think you may be using 2018. I could be wrong. But yeah, well, they've obviously changed a thing. Yeah, that is another valid option to do via code. It doesn't hurt that way either. Take another swig of coffee. Of tea. All right. So if we click play now, which we did, we can see that it doesn't move, which is great, because now it's on to the fun part, the actual code. Now we'll just have a look at here, and okay. So now it's time to do some scripting. And this is the fun part, because I'm not sure about you, but I use Visual Studio. And here comes the fun part, because I'm going to have to read the code out one by one. And I am going to, for this one, put this on my second monitor. And I am going to make a few scripts under the scripts folder here. Yeah. But don't worry, it's not rocking your brain. You can just sit back and grab the popcorn and I can do all the hard work for you. So we'll make a new script, and we'll call this one Racket, as per the thing. Now, we double click on this, and it will open up, usually Visual Studio, or something. And it did fuck all. It did fuck all. So we'll bring up Visual Studio. Okay, I'll make this bigger for you, and I didn't realise that it actually scales up the little the mascot there of some Japanese developer circle. So, alrighty. Now, I know there's a lot of stuff for that thing, but first of all, I like to make these private because it's basically just tells the engine don't expose them to anyone else to call. And basically what we'll do is the start function is automatically called by Unity when starting the game. Yep, the update function is over the... Alrighty, hold on. I'll just finish there. There is another thing there. Feel free, Jessica. Feel free, game dev made easy to shout and go, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. So what I'll do is you can feel free to catch up. I'll just start populating this. And I'm going to change some of the actual... for development settings, does it matter what I put it as? What do you mean? Usually you want Visual C# or something. Can you post a screenshot on the Discord? So I can, I'll be able to... Oh, virtual, yeah, just look for C#, C in the little hash thing. So we're going to make this, let's make it turbo. So we're going to say 200 for our racket speed, because we like to go fast. And now on the fixed update loop, whoops, I should actually, yeah, I shouldn't, yeah, I'm going too far ahead. Whoops, no, that's not correct. Ah, can't type for shit. Yep. So I'm just going to slowly type this, Strife. So I feel free to catch up. You don't have to do the comments. Just if you can on the fly switch things, you could just like you could change the racket speed to SPD if you know what I mean. What if you know and like input vector IV. It just yeah. So I'm just commenting this because I'll probably end up just for the record basically. Um, so we'll do that, and okay, once we've got that, is pretty much. I'm using 720p. That's probably why. I'm 720p. Yeah, that's most likely why it's getting downscaled to 720p. Sorry about that. I could go 1080p, but I can make it bigger if you want, if that would make it easier for you. Okay, okay, so there is something you shouldn't do in the actual okay, game dev made easy. I've got a question for you. Should we be updating the input vectors in update or fixed update? Um, is that any better, Strife? Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll get the tutorial back up. Now, there is a few things that I will go through. First of all, we want to make a private rigid body 2D reference. The reason why we do this is because the tutorial uses get component, and get component is very expensive in the actual runtime of the game. You would want to actually get a reference first and then call that reference because it's a lot faster that way rather than getting component because it has to look up for the component on the object and basically fetch that object, and if that returns null, which means it doesn't exist or it's missing, it will basically just shit its pants. So what we'll do is we will basically go rigid body 2D. D double E. Actually, no, that we don't need the double E because I thought it would error, but no, it should be okay. So we'll do the private rigid body 2D. Rigid body 2D equals. Actually, we don't need to do that. So what we'll do is in the private void start, we will have to assign this. So what we'll do is do rigid body 2D equals get component. Actually, what I usually do is go game object. That's a lowercase g, and then game object dot get component, and then the set of the greater than or less than values, and we want to put rigid body 2D. We end this with the curly brackets and go from there. And then the next statement is if exclamation mark rigid body 2D, then we put curly brackets. And with that we go debug log error, open curly bracket, quotes, error, no rigid body 2D on this object. What we're doing here, what we should do after that is go this dot enabled equals false, and then return. What this is doing basically is at the start of the script, it will basically query the game object, which is our racket, for the rigid body 2D object component. Sorry. Now, if that component does not exist, and since we need it to exist, we could do one of two things. One, we could add one on the fly, but it may very well botch everything up, and I don't want to do that because it's a tad bit complicated. The second option, which is what the approach is we check if it's null, which is the exclamation mark here. The exclamation mark means if this is not equal, actually no, it's a null check. It's basically saying if it is if it's not true. I mean, if this is not true, then obviously it doesn't exist, and then we disable the script, and we basically then return and exit the start function, and then the bracket doesn't work at all. So basically from there, we are going to basically continue on, and what we'll do in the fixed update is we will basically we will set our input vector. So we have the input vector dot x equals new input vector dot x equals input get axis raw horizontal. So that will exclamation mark is the non-unary operator. Unary, you mean not binary? Okay, so once we've got the input vector, we need to times it by our by the speed and how fast it's going. So what we'll do then, okay, the not operator, okay, yeah. So what we need to do now is, since the original script said get component blah blah, that is expensive. So what we do is basically go rigid body 2D dot velocity equals vector 2 dot right. Yeah, I do the same with the vector 2 equals null in that instance. I do that a lot, but in this example, I'm just being as simple as possible to just, get the thing done. So vector 2 right equals that, and then we want input vector times by speed. So we call racket speed. So basically this was basically setting the velocity to vector 2 dot right, which is usually shorthand for 1, times by the input vector, which will be our input vector up here, that we are setting on every time the physics engine runs, and the racket speed, which is 200. So that's all we have to do for the actual, that is all we have to do for the fixed update. Save the script, Control S or click in the floppy disk, and go back to Unity. Now, we will have to let it compile as the bottom right corner, rather. And on the racket, you want to drag this script onto the racket object. And then, once you've done that, click on the racket again, and you'll see our new script has appeared down the bottom. So I'll let you catch up, but I will basically double check my code and go from there. Okay, well apparently that. Do we have collision? We've got a problem. We have a problem. We have a problem. God damn it. Okay, I made a huge mistake up earlier, just there. You've got to set the rigid body 2D to dynamic. If otherwise kinematic, it doesn't check for collisions, so you know we could go through it, but now we can't do that. Yeah, my mistake. I'm sorry. Yeah. Dup. Yeah. I'll let you catch up, okay? Oops. I'll have to edit this part of the video out when I upload it to the record. Yeah, dead air apparently. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on, but you still around, Game Dev Made Easy? Oh, yep, that looks good. That is looking good. Beautiful. Okay, beautiful. You can actually, yeah, just with the update, just make sure you put the curly braces on there. Otherwise, you get a compile error when you go to save it into Unity. But if all goes well and you do that, you'll be able to move the racket like I demonstrated there. The reason I asked Game Dev Made Easy is mainly because the YouTube counter is broken. It says one person's watching. Um, and if you get this sort of behavior, congratulations, you've got pretty much probably 50% of the whole setup done, which is really good. So now we're going to I'll just double check this, make sure that the fixed update, yeah, we've all got that. Yep. Okay, now we have to set up some balls. I know yeah. I'm gonna refrain from making any comments. So what we'll do is we have to go back to the README and right click and save this picture as blah blah blah. We're gonna just save it in there just for good measure. And we have to do the same thing as we did with the actual what do you call it? The actual racket. And so we'll go back to the assets in the inspector here, and we go to the textures folder. We right click. It automatically compiles. There is no need to worry about the compile button. It automatically compiles. As soon as you switch back to Unity, if there's any script changes, it will automatically compile. It's an auto compiler thing. And it's also very good at screwing up at the missed times. If you like make a change while it's compiling and then it tries to compile over compile, yeah, good luck trying to get Unity out of that loop. Okay. Is it saying something about the hot reloading? Yep. What is the error message you get? It may be related to the private void update line, because I'm looking at your screenshot and it looks like it's got a squiggle underneath it. So you could probably just make sure your private void update looks like this. But I could be completely wrong. It could be a different error message. Oh, okay. Your pronunciation of rigid body got me a little bit. Ah, I see. Rigid body. Oh. There's a few other issues there I see in the script. But it should be... I'll fix it in the Discord for you. So, yeah, there's a few typos there. I'll fix them up for you. So line 16 should be line 16. So this will be just have a look. Line 16 on your side, okay? So that's line 16. And what was the other error? Rigid body 2D. Line 17. Okay, so what the errors you had was you actually didn't put the exclamation mark next to the rigid body 2D. So you were saying, if we have a rigid body 2D, then we throw an error message, which is not what we wanted. So we can change this to something more easy, like that. As Game Dev Made Easy suggested, is basically rigid body equals null. equal to, because we have double. Okay, a little bit of a primer on that. When we use when you assigning things is done with one equals thing. To compare something to nulls, another thing is double equals. Because basically you say, like, for the example in line 23, we're saying this dot enabled equals false. So it's telling the compiler at line 20, when we get to this line, set this value to false. Whereas if we put equals to, as in line 20 on my screen, it's saying, is this equal to null? If that makes sense. Where's Firefox? There we go. Yeah, that exactly. Game Dev Made Easy is also made a very good point. It's or normally explains it as that. Yeah. So it now compiles. Ah, shit. Did the battery in my headset just die? Let me just double check that. Oof. Okay. No wonder I heard it just beeping. Yeah. Equality check and all that politics, that bullshit. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Equality matters. Yeah, sure. The compiler gives a shit about that, really. Not. Anyway, I'm gonna get some flack on that if this goes and this gets like 5,000 views. I'll be like, oh, he's talking about equality. Hey. Okay, you still have errors in your code. Rigid body 2D. Okay, what's up? Oh, okay. Hang on. Rigid body 2D. Rigid body 2D equals game object get component rigid body 2D. That should be okay. Rigid body 2D, this is not enabled. What? Component does not contain a definition for velocity and no accessible extension method velocity accepting a first order type component. Are you missing a... What? That doesn't make sense. Okay, do the following. Do the following, because I'm just looking at the thing. I think it's a compile problem. What you need to do is close Visual Studio, close Visual Studio down, and then go and double click on, go back to the scripts folder where the racket is, and double click it. Because what's happened is it doesn't seem to compile properly for whatever reason. Actually, fuck it. I'm going to put 240 volts in my ears and let it charge the battery on this headset because I don't want it failing on me. Okay, back, and I'm currently pumping 5 volts into my headset. So, where were we? Yeah, you're right. Let me know if that fixes the problem. Otherwise, I'll just paste you my code. Because yeah, that is a very weird bug. What is that? Because you're doing it right. Everything here is right. It's just, you know, this doesn't come up right. Oh, okay. Rigid body 2D. Hang on. No, that doesn't make that doesn't no, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Let's debug this together, shall we? Okay. So racket speed equals 200F, yes. Input vector is input vector equals vector 20, yes, you got that right, tick. Private rigid body 2D, yep, tick. Private void start. Yep, that looks good. Yep, that's just another way of me writing it. Yeah, that looks good. Rigid body 2D. Oh! You've got a capital D. You've got a capital D there. There's the problem. No, 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 no. You don't have to capitalize. Rigid body has to be rigid body, like the here. It had the B for Bravo in rigid body has to be lowercase, like that. I think he's pasted in the lobby, Jessica. Sorry, game dev made easy. God damn it. One of the two. No, no, don't have to, no, don't capitalize the D on the end. When you're getting down here, you want to go rigid body 2D with it all lowercase. Well, where I've got the highlighted, that's a lowercase d. It's one of those gotchas. It is one of those gotchas. Okay, Strife, I'll paste you the code in the chat. I'll paste you the code in the thing. Oops. Yeah, it's all in the Discord. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's just better to copy paste the code. You did well though. You got there. Now you just stumped here. It's a bit easier for me to actually do that, but yeah, no. I pasted the Discord for you. So, when you've copied and pasted that into your script and let it compile again, you should have no errors, and you should be able to click play, add it to the racket, and yeah. So I'll let you do that. Just give me a yell when you do that. I will just play around with the racket and yeah, see if I can break it. Yep, exactly my problem. Jesco, it's just definitely yeah, terminology. Explain to me like I'm five. Well, you got to think. You're just a seed in the. You're a seed in the pop. You're a seed in the potting mix. You got to get to sprout, but this is a starting way to doing it. So, alrighty, let me know once your racket is added. You know, the script is added to the racket, and you can move the racket around, and I'll continue. Question: how do I move it? Left and right arrows. Yeah, left and right. Actually, no. Hang on. No. Oh, yeah. A and D or left and right arrows, and I was actually pressing left and right into the chat window, so it was like, why is this not working? And ending up with lots of D's. Like that. Let me know if it moves for you, and we'll go on to the next step. Yeah, gotta be slack. It's like this is just like an impromptu stream. Like, oh hi, I want to learn game dev. Well, actually, I should say Nacho was the one who referred it onto there. So no, it's all good. I'd prefer to screw up live and have people laugh at my mistakes and actually fix them. Fix the mistakes live. So it adds a bit of like it reinforces it for me that I'm not perfect, and yet I can still fix it. No, it should be just A and D. It should just be A and D left and right. Oop. Did it? Won't move. You copy pasted the code that I gave you, right? Oh wait, have you even attached the script to the? Have you attached the script to the racket? Like if you go back to the scene view and you click the racket, is there a racket like this thing pop up here? So you have okay, no, you're probably like 10 seconds behind or something. Because the racket script has to be attached to the game object. Otherwise it'll do fuck all. Happens. Don't feel bad. Yeah. Alrighty, that's good. So what we'll do now is we'll import the ball texture. So I trust you've downloaded um, the ball texture from the website, as I mentioned earlier. And we want to go into the texture folder as normal in the project window, and right click it and choose import a new asset again. And this time we will select ball.png. Again, it'll give us the input settings. So we want to set the pixels per unit to 1. And we want to click apply to leave everything as default. Then what we need to do is drag it into our scene so it comes up like this. Okay, that's fine. That's fine if you have no textures. That's fine. Now we want to add a rigid body 2D component to the ball. Make sure it's set to continuous, and we want to make sure it's set to dynamic. We want to then just double check the tutorial and make sure it's got a box collider as well. I'm probably going a bit too fast, but yeah, just hopefully you'll be able to understand. Okay, so now once you've done that, let me know, and we'll have to get to the next thing. Oh, I was sitting on my phone. No wonder it's so hot. Yeah, rigid body and a box collider. Yes, that's correct. Thanks, Jessica. Much appreciated. Yes, on the ball itself. Yep, a rigid body and a box collider 2D. Doesn't matter which order you put them in, as long as it's done that. And make sure the rigid body is set to dynamic, and you want it set to continuous collision detection. Yes, correct. Dynamic and continuous with 1 gravity scale. Yep, that's what you want. Perfect. And then, of course, yeah, you all said that. Yeah, in a moment. But first, we need to right click on the actual. Um, we right click on the projects window. I mean, Project Explorer here. Go create, and we want to specify a physics material 2D here. So right click, create physics material 2D, and we'll call this bounce. No, boing. Let's just call it boing. So we call it a boing, and it has a picture of a ball hitting something, which is what we want. We want the friction to be 0, but we want the bounciness to be 1. So set them as there, press enter once you're done, and it'll lock in the settings. Then it is a matter of selecting the ball in the hierarchy, and then dragging boing over to the box collider 2D material. This will then set the material to the boing, which will give us maximum boing. And if the boing recursion hadn't stopped already, it'll go boing, boing, boing. And then that means more boing for your boing. I'm sorry. Yeah. So once we've done that, we can then click play, and we can actually play a game of bouncing around. And it goes really slow, but who gives a fuck? It's going to go boing. It did. Whoops. That wasn't supposed to happen. La la, yeah, okay. Okay, well, there's our first bug. Let's fix it. Okay, so what happened there was, um, what happened there was we forgot to lock the racket's rotation. So what we need to do is actually go back to the racket. We select the racket, and we need to go under constraints on the rigid body 2D object, and we want to freeze the rotation on the Z-axis. So we click it, and it should no longer rotate on the Z. So we... Sorry? What? What do you mean, what? Yeah. And then it starts spinning. Let's try that again. Okay. Bye-bye, ball. Okay. Another bug. Go to the ball as well, and go. Make sure on the rigid body you set the freeze the constraints on the Zetas. Yeah. But that's normal. Just yeah. We'll get to that in a second. We'll probably have to add a script in, which will do that. But yeah, we need to make sure the rotations are set. Otherwise, the physics get really fucked up. Okay, so what we'll do is go back to the tutorial and the ball rigid body. Yes, that's okay. Actually, we need to change a few settings. So when you catch up to me, there's a few settings we need to change. We need to set the mass to 0.0001. And we want to also... freeze the ball's rotation, yep. So we want to make sure interpolate is set to enabled, and we want continuous to be set, that is correct, and gravity scale leave it as is. So that will then should make it fall much faster. At the same time of that, we need to make a script. So before we make the script, let's give this a test run and see what happens. So it'll fall really fast, and it should just go boing. There we go. Hey, we got a boing. Whee! Can I snipe it? Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, pretty much. I'll let you. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so that's good. Now what we'll do is go into the scripts folder and make a new script called ball. Who would have thought? Okay, Visual Studio may pop up and be a bit of a retard, so that's okay. You just have to put up with it, to be honest. Now we minimized Visual Studio because it just popped up and was like, "Ah, hi, I heard you compiling a script," and we said no. So we go to the ball script, we double click on it to open up Visual Studio, and we start putting in some code. So what I'm going to do is just drag over this again, and what we need to do is just chop out this update function in the bin. Gone. Dead. The update function is dead. So we need to do the other, and we want to call another rigid body reference. So we want to do a private rigid body 2D, and we'll call this one RB just for simplicity's sake. Then in the private void start method, we want to go RB equals game object dot get component rigid body 2D, that one like so, close brackets, semicolon, so it adds a thing there, and then we just simply do if RB equals null. We won't worry about a debug error on this, so we'll just go this dot enabled equals false, semicolon, and then return. So the ball will do fuck all. It'll just fall, but it won't do anything. So that is pretty much the start of the script. Okay, so we need to, once you've done that, we need to make a private variable called public float balls, ball speed, and we'll set it to, let's make it go fast, so 128 F, like so. And then what we'll do here is basically after the start method, after this check, we will then go RB velocity equals vector 2 dot up times by ball speed. Semicolon, save the script. Now go back to Unity once that is done, let it compile. Add the script to the ball object that we just had. So now the ball object will have a script that says ball and have a speed property of 128. Save again, Control S, just to make the changes stick. Then you can click play. And pretty much we have a ball that goes up and down like normal. Oh dears. So I'll wait until you've caught up there. Caught up, I should say. Caught up. Yup. Ah, okay, hang on. I'll fix that up for you. Before the... Hang on. I'll just give you the code. You're close. Yeah, you're very close. There you go. Just take that code, take that code and just paste it into it. You're missing the private void start function. No wonder it's it throws a hissy fit. Hey, Variety Sensei. Good to see you around, man. We are coding some Arkanoid, a brick breaker code. Brick breaker, yeah. Definitely C sharp. Yes, it is. And I'm just wondering if Jesco just saw that little silent chilling. Alright, so with that out of the way, now that you've got that, make sure the ball script is attached to the... That's dirty, isn't it? Make sure the balls are attached to the script, to the object. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely not there. Okay, I'm demonetized. I'm demonetized. I said balls on stream. Oh dears. Well, I mean, well, I mean, okay, you have to debug and play with the balls, so yeah. Anyway, uh, yeah, ball speed. It's all good. So what we'll do is now that the ball is setting up like that, we already know it's going to work. So what we'll do is go on to the next part of the tutorial. And now the collision angle here is basically we need to go and add a little bit more code to the ball. Now we don't have to add it again after we've done this because that's the beauty of it. So we do private void. Private void. Yes, private void on capital collision. Hang on. No, that is not what you want. Okay, so you want a private void on collision enter 2D. Make sure you capitalize it as in the that doesn't work in the actual thing as this. And inside these curly brackets, we will put some code here. So we need to pretty much do a little bit of magic. This is going to be a little bit of a weird one. So what we'll do is I'm going to just follow the tutorial here that I've got in my script. So I'm going to say if col.gameObject name equals racket, and this is not what you should be doing, but just for the simplicity of this script, it's the hey Darkslade, good to have you aboard, man. We basically go if col, which is the collision game object that collided with our racket, with the ball, name is called racket, then we need to calculate it. So we do calculations. So we do float x equals. That's a function, but fuck that. Actually, hang on. What is this? Hang on. Let me type this out. This will probably be better. Float hit factor equals game object dot transform dot position dot x I'm not going to be able to read this out, so just write it as long as you as far there. So You're talking about the... Yeah. You're talking about the character in the background of Visual Studio Variety Sensei? So that's what it is. There in the tutorial there is actually a function that there's a function that the thing. So I'm decompiling the function on the fly and trying to interpret it in my head. So that's the hit factor. Vector 2 direction new vector 2 x1 dot normalized. Okay. Yeah, variety sensor, yes, that is a skin. It's, what is it? It's Programmer Chan. Pronama Chan on the Visual Studio Marketplace, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Pro Ramachan IDE displays the mascot character Pro Ramachan on Programming Live Program Pronama.jp as the background, and she blinks and carries on. And if you have, there is a voice pack you can download, and she will actually speak when something goes wrong and scold you if something doesn't compile properly and whatnot. Oops, that should be a factor. You can, yeah, in the add-ons, you have to go through the website and download the file, which downloads it and installs it for you. So rb.velocity. That should do the trick. That should do the trick. Yeah, you just go into there, more information, and then I think it will basically give you this. She's really popular. I mean, she's a popular thing in Japan. Like, I mean, has all this sort of thing. Wallpaper, sound engine, and stuff like that. All this stuff. She's a mascot in Japan and a bunch of other stuff. Floppy disk. Birthday cakes, everything like that. So yeah, Strife, let me know when you're let me know when you've caught up. So yeah, just make sure the code looks like this and there's no typos, because there was a few things that since I had to decompile everything. Yeah. Visual Studio's it's amazing what you can do and everything. Okay, all right, I'll move on. But no, Visual Studio's been great. I mean, you look at Visual Studio Code. It uses Chromium, and you get a friggin' IDE in it, like GitHub Atom, but it's Visual Studio. I know Visual Studio Community, which I'm using here, is basically it's Visual Studio 2017. But I mean, I love Visual Studio. Monodevelop can go stuff itself. I'm honestly, I love Visual Studio. That is one of the things that I cannot live without. I mean, I could live with Monodevelop, but I cannot live without Visual Studio. It just works. And I mean, yes, it's Microsoft, but I mean, fuck it, it works. And its IntelliSense is great. Alright, so with that, we just go back to Unity, and we don't need to let everything recompile. And click play, and let's see what happens. There we go, woohoo, look at that, we've got a bouncing ball. Whee! The bit slow, but, you know. You know, let's make it go Sonic the Hedgehog fast. Oh, that didn't work. Let's make it go Sonic the Hedgehog fast. What if we go 900... There we go. 9999. Yeah. So we've got a bouncing ball. Now we just have to do the blocks, and then it's questions and answers, and that'll be end of class. So we'll change it back to 128 because that's the same value. Don't put 999 because we're not Sonic. Sonic.wave. So alrighty. So now what we need to do is we need to get some. What about the border collision with the racket? That's just normal because, okay, a little bit of thing. If we set up the, if we, you mean the little edges on the thing, like the actual edges of the, where I've got the mouse there, how it's slanted, like that? Oh, definitely. Sorry, that's just Dad with a... For fuck's sake. 1 second, I'll shut my window. Gotta love your parents. Anyway. Yeah. You could make it so, yeah, like, yeah, you could do it. You could modify it a little bit, but I mean, for the purpose of this example, it's not really necessary. But you can if you want. Feel free to customize it. What we'll do for now, basically for the actual is where is it? We'll go back to the actual noob tuts thing. And we'll get all these little tiny blocks. So we'll just call a block blue. So, right click and save them all. Oh, I've already saved that one. Red and yellow. Alright, so now we've got that in mind, let's just move the ball down to negative, so let's say a minus 100, sorry, minus 80 I think would be a safe guess. So it starts off like that, and then we want to start putting some textures in. So we'll go back to the textures folder and we'll go import a new asset. We'll select all our blocks and do the same old thing. We import them, then we basically set them as 1 pixel per unit. We go up, apply. Now we need to drag them into the scene, like so. No, not the animation, Unity. Go from there. And for each block, we need to basically add a box collider. I believe so. Yeah. So we'll add a box collider and we'll just position these around there. Like so. So we'll do that. And we'll put a green one in for good measure. Like so. Box collider 2D. Yep. This is the tedious part. So what I'll just do is 2 rows, but the rinse and repeat the same things. So what we'll do is just do that, and zoom in just to make sure we got it right. Just select one and Control D, and then just position it you know, just you can hold down Control to snap it to a unit, and then you just Control D again, duplicate, 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 duplicate. I just realised I fucked up there. Yeah, you can. You just click and drag them all. I'm just going the long route, to be honest. Okay. So once we're, yeah, it would, yeah, I know it's copy and pasting, but yeah, exactly. That too. That's what I recommend doing is just Control D. We're just gonna do two there. I mean, the tutorial says to put more blocks like this to duplicate it like a blocks like that, but you know, who gives a shit about that really? So what we'll do now is make another script. So go back to the scripts folder in your project view, and we want to go right click, create C# script, and then we want to go and call this block. Like so, let it compile, Visual Studio will pop its ass up, maybe it won't this time, like that, and pretty much, yeah. Oh, okay, I'll be someone who does the whole yards and do the fucking thing. Just for everyone on the stream, because they're awesome guys. Okay. Hot pink. This is completely not the rainbow red. There we go. I know I'm probably going to upset someone, but who gives a shit? Is there how many colors do we have? Blue, red, pink, red, yellow. Okay, we don't have any other ones. Let's just no, we don't want transparent ones. Okay, well these go in the bin. Bye bye. No, hang on. So that's all of them there. We've got a huge amount of game objects in the scene. It's not very good, but they're all sprites, so they shouldn't hurt performance. So we'll go back to the block script. We'll double click on it to bring it up, and then we'll paste some code in. So I'll move this over so I can write it for you. So we want to delete all of this stuff because we don't have to do them. So delete this chunk, and then we want to do private void on collision enter 2D like this. Unity may, Visual Studio may autofill it. You'll have to put in the rest if it doesn't. And then we just go destroy a game object. And for good measure, we'll just put a debug log. Oh no, you got me. There we go. And there we go. So, okay, and then all we have to do is basically just save, go back to Unity, in the inspector view, we just select all of these like so. Just click and drag the mouse so you lasso them. Then you go add component, look for block, done like so. Are you ready to go rumble? Here we go. We click play. Ta-da! We have breaking blocks. Woohoo! And you can do that too, which is pretty awesome. Since it's all rigid bodies, the actual thing will be unpredictable sometimes, but if you are able to slam it to the side like that and make a bite into the collider, it will actually do some really wacky speed and everything. But yeah, so... Oh, come on, let's see if I can make this happen. Oh shit, that's gonna be hard. Yeah! Oh no, 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 no! Super, there we go. Yeah, we already deleted them. As you can see on the left-hand side, you can already see the blocks are already getting disposed of by Unity. Yeah. If we were being fancy, we would be using object pooling, which is a method where we have objects stored in memory, and they just get pulled and instantiated and then disposed of every so often. But that's outside the tutorial. But yeah, we'll clear this level first, and yeah. Is it working for you? Is it working for you, Strafe? Are you getting the same response that I'm getting? Yep. That's good. Yep, okay, I lost the ball. But, okay, if it works, congratulations. You have just made your first game, of course, using from the tutorial on the noob tutorial website here. But yeah, I voiced it over and everything. So you can save, you can back up the project. You should pat yourself on the back and have a beer or a coffee or whatever your favorite beverage is, because you've just completed a game. Now all you need to do is polish it up, put it on Steam for $9.99, and rake in that sweet, sweet cash. Because you've just made a game that is 10 times better than a yeah. That's that's not part of the tutorial. So I was just following the tutorial just go. But yeah, that is one of the things that is up to the end user to go there, which is kind of easy because all you have to do is basically put a kill plane under here, which can be easily done, and then you can just reset the ball to go point it downwards and stuff like that. But that'll be up to you to decide what the best plan of attack is. Yeah, but other than that, you've got your own Arkanoid clone and everything like that. So yeah, and as you can see in the dev window, oh no, you got me. And it's all of that. That's one of the cool features of Unity. What's the Discord name? Mine is COVID64 #221, I think. Hang on a sec. Let me look it up. Yeah, go. Good one, Jesco. Yeah, I approve. I approve you. I approve it. Go make it. Yes. Actually, what I'll do is just throw you. I'll throw the chat an invite. That's what I'll do. Because you can go in the Iran Studio one. Go. There's the invite. Yep. Okay, Strife. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did doing it. I'm glad that you were able to make a game. Have a good one, man. But other than that, anyone else got questions and want some answers? Because it's that time of the thing. It's after the stream. It's go from there. Do you want to build a snowman? No, fuck Frozen. I don't like that. Do you want to build a snowman? No. No, seriously. I'll be honest with the whole snowman business. My nieces used to. They'd parody it. They would really parody it. Like they would. We would play the music, but then we would just take the Mickey out of it and go, we want to build a snowman, and just completely go from So. Can I code Discord bots? Yes, I can code. I used Discord.js on Node.js. C# might be a little bit of thing. Do a tutorial of what Variety Sensei? Ooh, who's going on in my chat? Greetings. Yeah, it depends on what tutorial it is. C# Discord bots. I know Nadeco, which is a bot that uses her own algorithm, but I know there's Discord.net. So yeah, definitely, I could definitely do something. I could make a very basic bot that I could release the source code on and go from there. But the only problem is that if I show my token, creating one from scratch. I mean, if you're talking about directly from like no libraries, no dependencies, well, no, I'm not that type of person. But if you wanted me to use like Discord.net, sure. The problem is if I do that, if I reveal the API token that I would use for the actual bot, then anyone who is watching has access to the bot's thing. So I would have to be extremely careful, and actually, I would have to script it actually. So I mean, yeah, I could definitely do a tutorial on Discord bots in the future, and go from there. But I think probably the easiest one for me is actually Node.js, which is actually just it's a JavaScript, but based on the Chrome engine. So yeah. But yeah, I'm really happy that this is going according to plan. I mean, it's an Arkanoid thing. Yeah, probably Node is it JavaScript or do you know what engine it uses? Because I know some of the engines use Pixie.js. I know CanCol for the HTML5 version uses Pixie.js, and I'm not sure if that's just a game engine or if that's like a library for canvas rendering and stuff. Yeah, JavaScript is really easy. I mean, you can get a bot up and running within 30 minutes. So, yeah, it's that easy, roughly. Oh, look at that, I'm cheating. Yeah, it's a library. Okay, yeah. Ah, Phaser and TypeScript. Okay. But isn't TypeScript Adobe? No, wait. It's isn't that Microsoft? TypeScript is No. Yeah, Microsoft. Okay, I'm thinking of ActionScript. My bad. I'm thinking of ActionScript. Yeah. Ta-da! Oh, fuck off. No, I don't want a RPG. First person RPG. No, no, not a Skyrim. No. Yeah, you know, RPG. I used RPG Maker. I will be honest with you, and I've said RPGs. I have used RPG Maker, but I never really explored because I had the English version of RPG Maker 2000, and it was pretty okay for most parts. But it was actually the developers actually sent a cease and desist to the person who actually translated it into English, and it was not bad. It was like, but if I was going to make an RPG, I'd make it something. um, RPG Maker is not too bad. Its only thing is, and here's the big thing, is that it's designed to do RPGs and JRPGs. Like, if I think there's a version on Steam that's RX. Now, the thing is that the versions that I used was the RPG Maker 2000, 2003. They were all named after the Windows version. So you had Windows 2000 and it had RPG Maker 2000. Then, you know, Windows 2003, I mean, RPG Maker XP and all everything like that. The biggest problem with RPG Maker is they are designed to do one thing and one thing only, make RPGs like that. And you have to use the version that I used was 2000, which was front on. Basically, you have the enemy in front of you and you have text on the bottom of the screen. I used 2003 that was translated into English again. That had actually little chibi sprites on the side, like Final Fantasy, that would, you know, actually were animated when they took hits and stuff like that. And stuff like that. But if I was to make an RPG, I'd be making it in the style of Golden Sun, which is one game that I love to death over, and it's what I played as a kid, and I fucking love the game. I still, to this day, even though I'm mid-20s, I still love Golden Sun. It was released in 2002, and I still love it. It's a Game Boy Advance title. The Game Boy Advance doesn't have all the, you know, whiz-bang features of the thing, but fuck it. I still love Golden Sun. And that is one thing that on my bucket list is to make an RPG that is like Golden Sun. Because I want to, yeah, I'm either that or otherwise I'm going to beg Nintendo to make a remaster of that for the Switch. Because I will say that is one RPG I loved. And I mean, the RPG for that is, I mean, fuck it, I could just look that up. Golden Sun GBA. You had something like this. You had like this for the you had something like this for the overworld, which is mode 7 actually done on the mode 7 on the Game Boy, and then you actually had the gameplay like this and stuff like that. So this is the sort of thing I want to create one day. Probably I'm not too sure, but if I even can do it, it depends on a lot of yeah, you know, yeah. So that's one game I want to play. Is definitely this. Is definitely Golden Sun. I mean, sorry, not one RPG. One RPG I want to make is a Golden Sun clone, at least. So I mean, it's even. I know Unity can do it. I mean, it's possible to do it. And I think that I believe it's fairly trivial. You know, with some of the summons will be interesting, but there's even particle effects like this. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I need a ROM to play it. I've got the ROM. I've actually got the Wii U version. I bought it on the Wii U eShop. I haven't played it. I need to, though. But anyway. Alrighty, well, any other questions before I go? Feel free to shoot them my way. Got time, so ask away. I am upside down from Australia, so yeah, feel free to ask me about the country. Don't ask me any political questions because I get triggered very easily on that topic. Yep, I live in Australia. I do live in Australia. That is, yep, I upside down. Yeah, I live upside. Yeah, I live upside down. Yep, that's me. I'm upside down. Fix this scroll up there. That's better. No, that's normal. Yeah, that's it. Oh, okay. I'm up in the Queensland. I'm not sure if you're nearby or anything, but no, that's just a crazy coincidence. Yeah, that is just a crazy coincidence. Nice. I know a bunch of people. Actually, one of my friends is from New South Wales, so yeah. Yeah. I should ask you, Jesco, have you used RPG Maker before? Because I know the new ones just go to JavaScript. The whole game engine is JavaScript now. Used to be like a runtime package you had to install, but now it's all JavaScript. Oh yeah, you have. Nice. Because the funny thing is, I know that one person was playing a game an RPG made in, JavaScript, and they could pop open the inspector window and like they use the console to get cheats because the developer of the, I think the RPG Maker guys forgot to set the program to disable the inspecting tools and stuff like that because it's Chromium or something, but all that shit, but HTML5 is a great language, yeah, it's a great language. It's a really good language. Well, not HTML5, but JavaScript and everything like that too. But other than that, alrighty, well, I'll wrap it up there. It's going on for almost 2.25 hours. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new, and how to, yep, go on, if you want to learn a Discord bot, where do I go? Discord.js maybe? There we go. There you go. Go there, learn how to do the bot, and it's very simple. You just have to learn how to install Discord.js and Node.js. I will strongly recommend you use a virtual machine of Linux because Windows and Node.js are a bit of a shit fight. But yeah. Is there any tutorials in C#? Discord.net. Yeah, there is a if you can navigate GitHub, there's an example, but there's no actual real tutorials on the whole how to make a Discord bot. Yeah, there's no real way because the problem with tutorials is sometimes if you Discord and Friends are always a library that keeps on changing because Discord likes to add new stuff and everything. So if you have a tutorial for something that in the past and stuff like that, it goes out of date real quick, and nothing drives me insane if there's a tutorial that is really covers all the bases, and you find it's completely outdated. It's like I find something for Unity and it's like, oh, this is the asset that'll end all assets. Nah, fuck it, it's out of date, So, yeah. But rest assured, I've added to my bucket list. I will definitely consider doing a tutorial. I'm not too sure how I'll do it. I'll probably have to script it. But, yeah. Other than that, yeah. Go from there. But anyway, alrighty, well, if there's no other questions, yep, I'm in the middle of, and I don't want to learn JS and stuff, yeah. Oh, C# is a great language. C# is one of those languages that you can learn, and it gives you a head start into everything else. Like, you learn C#, you'll be able to do a little bit of Python, you'll be able to do a little bit of, everything else, So, yeah. But other than that, thank you again for watching. If there's anything I've missed or anything like that, leave a comment in the description. Below the description. But you should also check out Jesco's at Game Dev Made Easy because he's an awesome guy, and you should really check him out and learn how to make more awesome games like the one we just did. Because you can look at all of the videos free of charge, and you can even know how it's developed, how to build No Man's Sky in CryEngine, or even Unity Engine. You can do comparisons and everything like that. And look, it's got tits and ass. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Had to take a swig of water of that. Yeah. Oh ass. Anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much. Go check him out. Hit that like button. Subscribe to him. Don't forget to subscribe to me. He's got more subscribers. I got to try to steal some of his base. Anyway. But other than that, I got to get going. So you'll catch me on Discord too. So if you want to hang out and chat. But other than that, it's been a pleasure doing the stream, and yeah. You'll be able to watch the archive stream of this. I'll probably have to change the thing, but look out for it. So until next time, this is Coburn, and I will see you next time. Take care and all that, and, well, yeah. Don't forget to check out Game Dev Made Easy. Is that all the shilling? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. Now, where's this right button? What's this button do? Okay, no, that button didn't do anything. Okay, what does this one do? Catch you later. Oh, that button didn't do it. What is this?